All right, guys, welcome to What the Fact podcast. It's been a while. This is Firdaus,
What up?
myself, Alfian, and Kim.
Hello. So, it's been a while. What have you guys been up to?
As you all know, recently I just got married.
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Thank you, guys. Off the shelf, off the market. Thank you guys for being best man, and thank you for Kim for flying out all the way to Singapore to be a technician, audio technician,
yes.
audio video technician for that day. Besides getting married, I also moved into Choa Chu Kang.
Choa Chu Kang, West Side locals, man. How is it so far?
Well,
Let's talk about food, man. Let's not talk about food, man. The disappointment is of another level.
Oh
Serious,
no.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Maybe because you haven't really ventured enough.
The good thing is that there's a couple of delivery options, but it's not as rich as Pasir Ris and Tampines. Yeah. Well, they have the Sri Sun here, but I tasted it before. It's not the same as the east side,
Really?
which is weird. Yeah, it's not as good.
Okay. So how's life, man? After marriage, like how many months now? 2 months, I guess.
It felt like 10 years, man.
Oh my god. What does that mean? Is that a good thing or bad thing? I don't know.
And wow, it can go both ways, man. Marriage is work. Dating a person is work. Then you get into a relationship. Then you realize there's also more work. Then you get engaged. A lot more work. Then you get married. Wow. Is a lot more work. I can understand that there will be more work once you have your first child, your second child, your third child, your 10th child.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Work is never ending. You think you're done with work after leaving your office? No.
No, man. No.
That life of you living by yourself, of your family, it's cool. But the moment you're married, it's different.
Wow. You really sound like a person who was married for 10 years.
Yeah, man, I know. I'm speaking from a lot of experience here. Right,
No.
Fee? I mean, Fee has been taking advices from me. Even he has 2 kids. And married for 2-3 years?
I'm married. This year will be my 5th year.
Yeah, I was close enough with the numbers. As you can tell, it's a very good friend of yours.
Yeah. I think the work comes from figuring out what our partner wants.
What our partner wants, or what we have to sacrifice for what our partner wants.
What the partner wants, I think that's like forever job until you die.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist.
Wow.
I mean, it works in a both way. Your wife needs to know what you want as well, and you need to know what your wife wants.
Correct, but the thing about men, we tend to be very direct. But when it comes to girls, we need to figure what is in their mind.
We need to bring your wives, man, into the podcast.
Nadia is very direct about what she wants, so which is fine. I'm the guy with the most, with a proper amount of experience on dating.
Whoa, but dating and marriage is different.
I know, guys.
You sound so sad.
No, marriage is fun. I love being married. Because I found my other half, the amazing Nadia.
Yeah.
There was a pause.
Yeah,
there was
you
a slight
sounded
pause.
very convincing.
Okay, let's talk about the day I moved in and what happened.
But first of all, for the context, Alfian moved in to in-laws' house.
Yeah. So the first day was after we got married. I moved some stuff over. It was all cool. Like, okay, moving new stuff, setting things up slowly. But then after that, it was disruptive because we had to fly to Langkawi for a mini honeymoon. We had a mini honeymoon to plan for our honeymoon. Everything was nice, just married, talking about the wedding, like how fun it was planning. So when we flew back, that's when everything started to happen. I had to unpack my stuff. Then my habits, I realized I have to change my habits.
Like what kind of habits?
I have to come home at a particular time. I cannot be too late because I'm married. Yeah, I mean, Fee can relate to that. Once you set a time, you should be back by a certain time. You cannot be too late.
Questions will start to...
Yeah.
Like, is it because your wife will get worried, or is it because you don't want your in-laws to think that you are, you're fooling around?
I think it's more towards concern, like you give them your word, they will stand by their word because they might be preparing dinner for you as well. Right? So when I say habits change, food change as well. So their eating habits is different from my eating habit.
Do they eat more like Malay food or fusion? Or what kind of food usually, they cook?
Very Malay food.
Very Malay.
Nasi Padang, man.
Yeah.
Man, shook, bro.
Yeah. Yep, so I had to buy my own groceries. I came from like living at Pasir with my family members, but we don't interact that much, right? So I always order in food when I come home. That's my normal stuff. But here, it's a bit different. So like for one night when I came back home after work, I ordered in food. So that wasn't good because my mother-in-law is cooked already and she thought that I would eat, but instead I ordered food in. Then I was eating alone on the dining table. My mother-in-law wasn't happy. She called Nadia to come in and actually sit next to me while I eat.
Oh.
I was like, this is weird. I want to have dinner to myself. Back then, for 30 years of my life, I would just come home, go into my room and just like do my own things. I do not talk to anyone. So I have a family, but it doesn't function like a family. Whereas for this, it's a normal functioning family, but I'm not used to it.
Right.
Like when we're like cleaning a fan or drilling a hole, the whole family is there to like be participating or helping one another. Whereas I feel like there's too many people. I can do my stuff. I don't need everyone around me. So it's very different.
Right.
Yeah, then we had argument like cleaning the fan. I wanted to blow the dust off, but whereas the mom and my mother-in-law and Nadia wants to wash the fan, I wasn't happy about it. I just had a process. Then I was frustrated. Nadia was frustrated. Then we argued. Then when you're married and living in the same place, when you argue, you can't run away. The person is still in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn how to be more forgiving. Someone has to give in.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Whereas, last time it's like, fight, argue. I'm gonna go sleep. And I'm gonna sleep alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can leave it to the next day, but now you can't.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be sleeping next to the person.
Exactly. And especially when you sharing a house with other people, you can't sleep in next room, separate rooms.
Yeah. You can't just go into in-laws room and sleep.
Hey, mother-in-law, can I sleep on?
Because I fought with my wife, your daughter.
Yeah, that is quite tricky, man. I mean, if you show signs of any disagreement between your partner, staying with your in-laws is not a good. I wouldn't say it's not a good thing lah. Because the thing is, if you show, tendency is your in-laws might interfere.
Yeah.
So for something so small, it can actually escalate to something bigger.
Exactly. So they try to read into your emotions also all the time, like how you're feeling. And the mom is she's very concerned and wants to be very involved. So every time she sees something about me, like I'm unhappy, she will try to please me. Like, hey, what's happening? But for me, is I'm just a normal person that I don't say much. At times, I will just grunt, like, okay, sure. I had to be respectful and mindful, not just my in-laws, but to my wife as well. I've been living like bachelor life is always amazing, by yourself, no responsibilities, no one to like report to, or, you live with no rules. Maybe with some rules, but not a lot of rules.
Yeah, we have that freedom to play
the
with,
freedom, the amazing freedom, and the space in your room, the way you want to put your stuff.
Yeah, what time you want to wake up in the morning,
exactly when you want to masturbate, So when I was cleaning up the room, it took a while. And I had all these emotions, habits that was in me, but I was okay with it. There are times I argue with Nadia all the time, a lot more, especially when we just got married. I have my way of putting my stuff. She has a way of doing her stuff. Even it's very different. Once you start living on the same roof, everything changes. Again, so there was one time I was fixing up my computer, my table. We bought some new furniture in. I was mounting the TV up. And then I was like, okay, this is going good. Wiring everything up. Then I switch on my computer. I realized my screen was cracked. Yeah, man. So I saw the crack. I just immediately, lie down on the carpet. And then my eyes started sweating. Then Nadia came in. She was like, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? I broke down, guys.
You cried?
Yeah.
You cried?
Oh, wow. I mean, come on, man. I think, I can understand, man. I mean, I think that's the thing about guys. You see, whenever we have a problem, whenever we are quiet, when our partner tend to, pry into our mind, it can be something so simple. It can be something like, our bike's not working, our car is spoiled, or for our friend cases, it's his computer, man. Is where he do his work, and he play games, and he need that as something for him to escape from reality for a bit, and it broke.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot of emotions. Everything has changed around me.
Right.
And that thing was that was the last straw, Like, I'm happy getting married. I didn't show that some people cry when they get married, all these emotions. I didn't have a lot of emotions. I was like, okay, cool. One thing at a time, step by step. Then the moment I moved in, everything changed.
Yeah.
Wardrobe space, room space, putting your stuff,
right.
dealing with your partner and your partner accommodating to you. Like, how do you adjust everything in your life just like that? It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nadia didn't know what to do as well, because she was like, she has never seen me cry before.
Oh my God.
It wasn't like I was like, I was just like, tears just ran out from my eyes. I was just like, I was lost. I have to be mindful and respectful with everything I do in this house, especially living with the in-laws. Because you all know my story with my father-in-law. Oh. Apparently, I'm very rude.
What?
I told my father-in-law that, okay, I want to propose to your daughter. I want to ask for a hand in marriage. So, of course. Yeah. Then I told him my next steps, which is like, if shit were to happen, I would take back that ring. And whatever I've given her is hers. Whatever she given me is mine. But that ring, I would take it back.
Well, that's what you told your father-in-law?
Yeah, back then was future father-in-law.
Like, you told him that you're going to propose to her, but in case something bad happens, if something doesn't work out, I'm going to take back that ring.
Yep, that's
what
right.
You said?
Yeah, man, she was so angry. So I found out from Nadia, and Nadia told me like, what? My daughter is not good enough for that man?
Yeah, I mean,
he was so angry.
So absurd thing to say to your father-in-law before marriage.
I was trying to make a joke out of it, but I also was trying at the same time trying to be serious. That I was thinking of next steps whereby, you know, this kind of thing whereby I know, well, you can't foresee the future. I'm just stating the facts where shit were to happen, this is what I'm going to do. So that way there won't be another bigger argument when...
you are talking about proposing at the same time, like saying something might go bad and you're gonna take back the ring.
Yeah, these are preventive measures, you know. These are like steps after steps. You know, you can't always talk about happy journey. We need to talk about sad journey as well, man.
But you can tell that to Nadia, not the father-in-law.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I know the ring was really expensive.
Come on, guys. I have a lot of experiences in dating, but I never had any experience of getting engaged. You know, I don't like, hey, I'm gonna propose to you. This is just to build up my skills and experience for practice. You know, in the future, maybe I might propose to another person. Yeah, well, everything kind of calmed down when I told him like, this is how I'm gonna spend on the wedding. Like, what's my involvement? What's my share? Then I was like, oh, I can relate to you. Then everything went back to normal. He was okay with it. But I've been telling people the most amazing thing since I got married, it's I have a reason to come home.
I mean, I'm not married, but there's a reason for me to come home as well. Sorry guys, this is a weird way to end the podcast, but this is the end of the podcast, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye bye.